Welcome to Revelation Unraveled. I'm your host, William Tapley, also known as the third eagle of the apocalypse and the co-prophet of these end times. Today is February the 11th, 2017, and it marks the 4th anniversary of when Pope Benedict announced that he was going to resign his office. And I remember that date very well because I was attending my niece's wedding, and I did a video from the motel room and posted it immediately, telling you what a tremendous tragedy that was. But it also was the beginning of the fulfillment of end times prophecy in the book of Revelation, where John says the holy city will be trampled underfoot for 42 months. And in the end times, the holy city is Rome, because that's where the Roman Catholic Church is located. And it began the fulfillment of Mary's prophecy at La Salette, where she said Rome would lose the faith and become the seat of the Antichrist. And I told you several months ahead of time this was going to happen, that Pope Benedict would be defeated by the forces of the Antichrist. And I told you this because of the prophecies in Gangnam Style. A lot of people made fun of me, but Psy, in all of his music videos, represents the Antichrist. And in this particular video, the man in yellow symbolized Pope Benedict. And of course, he's got yellow on, he's wearing yellow, his coat's got white buttons, and yellow and white are the colors of the papacy. And that's because there are two rivers flowing in heaven, a river of honey and a river of milk. And if you take a closer look at that red German car that the man in yellow drives off in after his defeat by the Antichrist, that symbolizes Pope Benedict's martyrdom, and I think he will eventually be martyred. The German sports cars signifies the nationality of Pope Benedict. And take a closer look at that license plate. The only number repeated more than once is the number 5, and of course 3 5s is found in Bible prophecy. It represents Mary's rosary and the woman both in Genesis 3:15 and in Revelation 12. Now, the reverberations of the resignation of Pope Benedict reached even to heaven. And maybe you remember, lightning struck the Vatican shortly after Pope Benedict resigned, and that shows God's displeasure, because popes are not supposed to resign. Pope John Paul II reigned from his deathbed for 4 months, and Pope Benedict was forced out. And notice the time on the clock on the Vatican, 5:55 in the afternoon. That is not accidental, people. That shows that this was a sign from Almighty God, and that his resignation did reach even to heaven. And so, what do we have today? The situation today is that we have the false prophet, Pope Francis, or phony Francis, as I like to call him. And when he issued his apostolic exhortation, Amoris Laetitia, he hid a little footnote, number 351. And of course, 351 is the satanic reverse of 153, which also signifies the number of Hail Marys in Mary's rosary. And that little footnote defied Jesus Christ himself, because Jesus said, "Do not give that which is holy to the dogs." And Pope Francis says you can give that which is holy to the dogs. In other words, you can give the Eucharist to people living in mortal sin. And that was a fulfillment in turn of Daniel 3. I ate no desirable bread, and neither flesh nor wine entered into my mouth, neither was I anointed with oil. And that means that Pope Francis, who has taken the daily sacrifice away from the prince, he has made all communions in his one world religion invalid. And that goes for Malta, where the bishops are supporting the Pope. It goes for Germany, where they announced just a couple of weeks ago that they would give communion to the divorced and remarried. It does not apply to Poland, where the bishops have said they will not go along with Francis. It won't apply to Portugal, because in the Third Secret of Fatima, Mary said the dogma of the faith would always be preserved in Portugal. So that's the situation we have today. It all goes back to Pope Benedict's resignation. Today we have cardinal against cardinal and bishop against bishop, as Mary prophesied at Akita and at Fatima. And the situation will only get worse. The division, the apostasy in the church will continue. But as I've been saying all along, we do have a solution. Don't expect phony Francis to consecrate Russia. It is up to us now, we the lay people. And all of us, we can pray the rosary. That's what Mary told us to do. We can do the first Saturdays. Mary also told us to do that. We will be able to save ourselves. We won't be able to save the world, which the popes could have done. Pope Benedict, I'm afraid, will be martyred. He will follow the kings of France to their destruction. I'm sure he is the bishop in white, also found in the third secret of Fatima. I believe those things are imminent. And as I say, it started with the resignation of Pope Benedict 4 years ago today. And as always, if you would like to know more information about my ministry here on YouTube, visit my thirdeaglemedia.com website.